Morning.
Hello, Ma'am Patricia. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon for you.
I'm fine.
Good.
And a little
Good.
bit hot today.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow, fantastic. Now here winter is coming, so it's like, woo.
Oh, yes. We still hot in here.
Yes. Is the time changing by any time? No. The time is changing next week? No, you don't change times.
We don't have a changing time in the season. We have two seasons, just dry season and rainy season.
Okay.
Last week I heard news about Spain, about a flash flood. How is the condition there?
About what? Sorry?
Flood in Spain.
Floods? No. Well, I don't know. No, I haven't heard. I don't know. No, there's a volcano, but it's very, very, very far away from where I live.
Yes.
That's it. But it's constantly just erupting, and the people there are suffering a lot. Yes. But that is some islands near Africa. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. So because the time is changing here next week, so it means that now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so next week is going to be 7 o'clock. So either I'm thinking of, if you all can, or also the students, do it an hour later, or continue like this and I wake up at 6 o'clock. I think it's better, so you don't have to move anything around. So don't worry. Okay, forget what I said. I'll wake up earlier, and yes. So I'll be a bit sleepier, but yes, I'll wake up earlier, and so we don't have any changes. Don't worry.
Okay. So what time change in your country, ma'am, with different season?
Usually at the end of October now, this weekend on Sunday, instead of 3 in the morning, it's going to be 2 in the morning. So that means that now, for example, sunset, it's at 7. So it means that at 6 in the afternoon is going to be dark. Yeah. Then the time changes again for the summertime in March next year. So yeah, it's going to be darker at around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m.
It's gonna be winter and winter holiday season.
Yeah, well, exactly, in December. Yeah, it's a bit depressing, because everything is darker, it's cold. So, yeah.
Yes.
So how's everybody here?
How are you, students?
How are you?
I'm fine, Miss.
Yes, good. I hope you're motivated to learn, because today I'm going to give you some tips on how to read, okay? How to read text, how to read books, how to read chapters. And I hope you can put this into practice and tell me your feedback next session. Yeah, next session is going to be our last session.
Yes, it's gonna be our last session, so don't waste your time. The practice come with Ma'am Patricia because we just have one meeting, one meeting left for next week. So prepare for your questions.
Exactly. Your questions and also your impressions. So today I'm going to give you some tips, okay? And my idea is for you to put these tips into practice. Now you will see what I'm talking about. To put these tips into writing. Yeah, so I'm sure you need to read something, or Sophie will make sure you need to read something and put these tips into practice and see whether they helped you, they don't, why not, what is your favorite method, which one is your least favorite, what works. I mean, you have to try everything to decide which is your preferences, which one is not. Sometimes what works for one particular text doesn't work for another text, or maybe depends on your attitude, your preferences, your learning styles. What might work for you may not work for your friend, etc. But in order to know that, we need to practice to do this. Okay, so if your homework for today is try these methods out and write some reflections, whether they work for you or they don't. Talk to your friends about it, their opinions, their ideas, etc. Okay, and I would like you to know next session, okay, if you're ready to talk, or you can write on the chat box. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Shall we start?
Okay, how many students? 24. 24 students. Okay, can we start now, ma'am?
Yes,
okay,
of course.
Please be ready for your video. Yes, turn on your video, please. Don't turn off your video. Don't stop your video. Okay, pay attention. And then Ma'am Patricia will present the reading for academic purposes about reading method and strategies. Okay, Ma'am Patricia, time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, as I always say, if you have any questions, write it down on the chat box, or just unmute your microphones and talk. It's fine. Well, today we are going to, as you know, we're going to talk about reading for academic purposes, number 2, part 2. Yes, and this, as I've been saying, I'm going to present or give you some tips on strategies and methods. All right. Some things have been mentioned before, but you know, this is a recurrent topic, so we need to recycle the information. All right, let's have a look at this. Okay, as I said, in order to because reading is an integral part of your university studies, yes, it's important for you to become an effective reader. Okay, the more effective, the better. So for you, if in 2 minutes, could you tell me, what do you think, what is an effective reader for you? What you think you consider to be an effective reader? What is it for you? What characteristics should you have in order to become an effective reader? Could you please write it down on the chat box or unmute your microphones and let me know?
Okay, students, what is the characteristic to be a good reader? Ya, seperti apa? Silakan tulis di chat box your comment according to your opinion.
Yeah, what are the characteristics of an effective reader for you? Or the question is, what is an effective reader for you? Maybe you don't know or you're not sure. It's okay, no problem. Just write it down. I have no idea.
Yes.
Or I think it is this, but I'm not sure. Or some characteristics are this, but I'm not completely sure. So it's okay, no problem. Any idea? No? Oh, you're shy today again.
Any idea, please? Good reader. Good reader, yeah. in the text line, leader, not leader, but reader. Okay.
Reader.
Yeah,
Yes,
reader.
exactly. A reader.
Pembaca yang baik, karakter pembaca yang baik itu seperti apa? Menurut pendapat kalian sendiri. Apakah dia harus menguasai vocabularies? Apakah dia harus menguasai grammar? Apakah dia memang attitude-nya memang sudah ke reading, ya, reading practice? Ya, silakan write in the chat box. Or you can comment.
Yeah, it's okay. There are no right or wrong answers. Yeah, just I would like to know your idea.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes. Maybe have goals for reading.
Sorry, can you say this again?
Have goals for reading.
Goals for reading, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
If you are an effective reader, you need to have a goal, an objective. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? No? All right. Well, now you will see what are the characteristics of an effective reader. Okay. Think about yourself when you read. All right. Whatever I said, just think about yourself. Reflect on what you do, on your strategies. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So if you want to become an effective reader, you need to read with a purpose. Exactly. I think it was you, Asri, yeah, that you said it. Read with a purpose, with a plan, and with concentration. Remember that we mentioned concentration. You need to be in a quiet place, maybe with a cup of coffee or tea. Yes. Also, it's really important that you are concentrated. So, and with a purpose in mind. You need to be organized. Yeah. So you say, okay, these 2 hours I'm going to read this chapter or this book. Okay. You need to have time to do this. Also, you need to not just look at words, yeah, or unknown words, but search for the meaning of these words. All right. Remember we mentioned before the meanings. Yes. Somebody says something here. Good readers like this read quickly, can capture and understand the contents of the reading material. After reading, you can remember the main points of the reading material. Exactly. Thank you very much, Muhammad. Yes, exactly. Yes. And this is something that what Muhammad has said, we are going to see this throughout this session. Okay. So you need to have a purpose, an objective, a plan, and you need to be concentrated. You need to be organized. Yeah. And you have a place to read, a quiet place. You just not just look at words that you don't know, but just search for the meaning. Okay. And remember, build up a vocabulary bank that will help you not only in understanding your reading, but also in writing, because usually you need to write essays, and also in your exams. Also, you need to, as Muhammad has said, assimilate what you read with what you already know. This is something, I don't know if you remember last session, I mentioned the KWL chart, what we know, what we want to know, and we have learned. So this is, the first part is what you already know. So assimilate what you have read with what you know and put this together. Might help you, okay? And to be active, you need to be an active reader who remembers and draw conclusions from the material that is being read. It's not good if you say, oh yeah, you read this and it's like, no conclusion. No, you always have to draw a conclusion. Yes. All right, and it's important to activate your schemata or your prior knowledge. Yeah, this is something that here in number 4, yes, it's important to assimilate what you are reading with what you already know. Yes, before reading, you say, okay, what do I know about this? Da, 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 da. So it's important. This is called the pre-reading. Any questions so far? No? So these are all some, not all of them, but some of characteristics to become an effective reader. Okay, think about yourself. Think about when you read, do you put all these into consideration? Do you think about all these? Are you all of these? Think about that. All right. Today we are going to talk about strategies to become an effective reader. Okay, and first of all, what is important, and this is a useful technique, is the pre-reading, activating your prior knowledge. And why pre-reading is so important? First of all, because you gain an overview of the content and the tone of what is it that you're reading. Yes. So this allows you to make judgments about what you are reading, yes, and you decide whether what you are reading is worth continue reading or not. Maybe you know that some texts or books are not fantastic, so you said, okay, I'll continue reading, or no, and you throw this away, right? That's why the pre-reading is important. And also, the second reason is that, as I mentioned before, you activate prior knowledge and you prepare yourself for the acceptance of new information. Yes. So what you have in your mind, what you are going to read, and then put them together. Yes, you activate your prior knowledge. This is important. Also, if you want to become teachers, activating your students' prior knowledge, it's a must. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you 2 examples. And here, my idea is that in a sense, you are preparing the ground for sowing of new seeds. Yes, here. So when you pre-read, you are preparing the ground. It's like if you're planting seeds. Yeah. So you are first, before planting, yes, you need to prepare the soil and then put the seeds. So this is the same idea. You are pre-reading in order to prepare your knowledge to be learned. All right. Please, whenever you have a question, stop me. Yes, in the chat box. I'll be reading all your questions. Okay, so there is an example, 2 examples actually, about pre-reading. And this is an example of pre-reading a whole book or pre-reading a chapter. Yes, depending, but you can, this is 2 approaches, but put them into practice whenever you need to do that. All right, so to pre-read a whole book, yeah, when you do that, think about this. Look at the content pages, okay? You have a book and you say, okay, how do I approach the book? First of all, look at the content pages. Does it seem to contain useful material? Try to answer those questions to yourself. Read the instructions of the preface, if there is a preface. What is the author's purpose? What is the objective? How is the text structured? Glance at the chapters, yes? Are there any summaries included? What do the first and the last paragraphs tell you about the chapter? Okay, so we are going to see now that the summary or the first and the last paragraphs are always important. And then survey the index. Ask yourself the following: are there any relevant words listed? what topics are given more importance, okay? Am I interested in those topics? Are they useful to me or no? So decide on that. Okay, what about when you pre-read a chapter? Think about the following. So it's a different strategies, okay, but equally important. When you read a chapter, which obviously is shorter, skim. This is an extremely important strategy when you read. Skimming. Skimming means when you look for important information. Yeah. Skim through the text and examine the headings and the subheadings. Yeah. Does it give you information? Yeah. About what? How many subheadings? Headings. Look at any illustrations. Usually the illustration, graphs, pictures, etc. gives you a lot of information about the chapter and also obviously about the content of the chapter. Read the summary if there's one at the end, okay? It also will give you a lot of ideas. Read the introductory or the concluding paragraphs of the chapter, okay? Also, this gives you an idea. So once you do that, you're ready to go, yeah? Okay, but there are other effective ways of tackling pre-reading. Remember, pre-reading is step number one. When you pre-read a whole book or what you pre-read a chapter or a text, whatever you need to read. Okay, another technique for pre-reading is find the topic sentence. And what is that? Is usually in the first paragraph, yeah, think about this. You have to become aware of the paragraph structure, and the paragraph structure will help you identify the main points. Yes, very detailed points and supporting evidence. Okay, so you read the first paragraphs and okay, this is important, this is important, this is important. Okay, right, you can continue with this. And usually, as a general rule, of course, it may differ from book to book or text to text. We can say that a paragraph contains one main point. Usually, each paragraph contains important information, right? And topic sentences introduce or sum up the main points, usually at the beginning, and also afterwards, you have an extended ideas. So that's why it's important. Pre-reading, remember why it's important pre-reading, also how to do it when it's a book, how to do it when it's a chapter, and then number two is find the topic sentence, okay? And another way to pre-read is look for keywords and key phrases. Skimming, as I said, we are going to talk about skimming a lot because it's one of the top strategies for reading. Skimming and usually comes with scanning. Skim and scan, yes? Skim is when you look for important keywords and key phrases. Scanning, remember what a scan does is you read like this to get a general idea. So, when you skim a text, concentrate on vital words or phrases. Important statements, definitions, yes, are always in italics or in bold. Sentences or phrases which are ordered with numbers, yes. So here we have the most important ideas, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. And then when sentences we begin with first, second, finally, yes, that will help you to organize yourself and say, okay, here we have 3 ideas or 4 ideas, etc. All right, this is what the author wants us to know. Okay, Is there any questions so far? Because now we are going to move into methods or strategies for, this is the pre-reading part, and now we are going to go into the actual reading. So do you have any questions? Would you like to comment on something?
Okay, students, if you have questions about pre-reading, ya, kalau kalian punya kesulitan untuk like finding the topic sentence atau di pre-reading, ya, what you are going to do in pre-reading, silakan tanyakan.
Yeah. No. Have you ever done this before? Have you ever done the pre-reading? Yeah. Have you ever?
Ya, apakah kamu
have you ever thought about? Sorry. Have you ever thought about your background knowledge, what you already know about the topic?
Yes. Apa yang sudah kamu lakukan selama ini ketika pre-reading? Do you apply the steps that Ma'am already explained? Nah, pernah diterapkan nggak pre-reading seperti ini? Apakah langsung saja ternyata strategi yang kamu lakukan itu salah? Ya, misalnya itu. Coba keep your comment, please. I want to hear your comments from you, ya, from the students. Di pre-reading activities itu, what did you do?
Exactly. Yes, there are no yes or no answer. As I said before, it's nice to hear your experience as a student or as readers. Maybe you say, no, I've never done this before, or no, I never have thought about it. Or yes, I do it all the time. Or maybe you do it unconsciously without even noticing. But now maybe this week you can put more effort and you're more conscious about it.
Iya, apakah langsung lihat questions? Sometimes the students saying the questions and then find the answer. Jadi lihat pertanyaannya, say the questions and find the answer. That's all. Without reading first, without the pre-reading. Yeah, you do like that, Yeti, Islam.
All right, let me see. Somebody say, Faisal is saying, I usually
experience about it.
Okay, Faisal said, I usually do skimming and scan it first before I read the book. Very good. Yeah, so this is part of your pre-reading skills to become an effective reader. Very good, Faisal. Yeah, any more ideas? No?
Salsabila, share your experience about pre-reading.
Okay, somebody else. Let's see. Okay, Salsabila says, I saw the question first before reading. Yes, Afrian says, yes, mom, sometimes I'm using some methods, but depends on the book I'm about to read because I usually just reading or a novel or something for entertaining. Okay, fair enough, good. But also, if you're reading for entertaining, sometimes you look at the first pages, you look at the end and see how the book is structured, and maybe you do it instinctively, yes, without realizing that you're doing it. I read a question, so for the text, yes, very good, Mohammed. Schema text for specific information, Solita, yeah, exactly. Okay, so now, all right, we are going to, so the first step is pre-reading. So when you ask yourself several questions and maybe unconsciously, you match the information that you had before with the new information. And now we are going to see 4 methods on how to approach reading. Okay. And as I said at the beginning of the session, is that I would like to try all 4 methods and see what work best for you. This is individual preferences, depends on your learning preferences, depends on your learning styles, or depends on your mood or the kind of text. And Elsa says, I usually, when I read for an assignment, I usually look at the problem before reading the text to see the answer that is needed. Very good. Okay, that's another approach, and we are going to see this in a minute. Very good. All right, let's have a look at the, oh, sorry, I forgot to, I forgot to read this. So, as somebody mentioned here, is you read for a purpose, right? Sometimes if you have a question for an assignment, you read the question and then you read the information with that purpose, with that question in mind. So that's a good strategy as well. So as I said, and as you know, you read for 3 different purposes at university: to gather material that must be understood and recall it in detail afterwards, to understand and evaluate the author's purpose in writing and the supporting arguments and evidence, and then just for background reading, yes, to support your ideas. All right, so now we are going to start with the system, okay? And here I'm going to introduce you, maybe you know it, maybe you don't, just let me know. The first method or approach, let's say, is called SQ3R, and then you will see what it means, okay? Here we have 5 stages to pass through, and each stage depends on the stage proceeding, okay? So it's something that you do regularly, and if once you get used to this method, you will do it instinctively, okay? All right, so the S stands for survey, okay? This is when you get into the reading. You survey the text. You glance over the headings in the chapter and read the final paragraph. You look for a central theme. You try to identify some core important ideas. You find words that are highlighted by the author. If they are highlighted by the author, it means that they are extremely important. Also, you read any definitions in boxes or in the margins. You look for key sentences which are highlighted, yes, and you might read chapter summaries or synopses. And this is the survey, yeah? This is what you do when you say, okay, I'm gonna read this book, I'm gonna read this chapter. So the S is for survey. Then it comes the Q. The Q stands for question. So go back to the beginning of the chapter and turn the headings or the first headings into a question. Imagine that the heading in this article says effective ways of becoming, ways to become effective reader, okay? So this is a heading or the title of your text, and then you change this, you swap it into a question. So the question is, what are the effective ways of becoming, or what are the ways to become an effective reader, all right? Or 3 methods to become a great teacher. You change that into, what are the 3 methods to become an excellent teacher, okay? So all the headings that you have, swap them and turn them into a question. So because, as somebody says, you have the end, the purpose in mind, okay? So you will have to look for the information. When you read, you have the information, the question in mind, and you try to answer it. All right, the R, the first R stands for read. So you look for the material to clarify arguments and assumptions. You evaluate them and you answer your own questions. So you see that every step needs to depend on the other. First of all, you survey. Then the headings or subheadings, you turn them into a question. And when you read, then you answer your own questions, yeah? And you evaluate the answers and you look for arguments and assumptions, maybe for and against, pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of the topic, all right? The second R stands for recite and recall. This is a very good technique that I did it when I was a student long time ago, but I still doing it. Is in order to remember information, I look away from the text and I recall the answers. Yeah, so I speak out loud in order to remember the answers, and I try to use my own words and give examples, because whenever I use my own words to explain what the author has said, it helps me a lot to understand. And if I give examples, yeah, also helps me a lot, and to remember, to recall the information. I might look like a crazy woman, but I talk to myself. I talk to the mirror, I talk to the walls, yeah, in order to remember information. And the last R, you see, S for survey, Q for question. The first R is for reading. The second R is for reciting or recalling, remembering. And the third R is for review. Look over your notes to get a summary. Remember, when you are reading, take notes, okay, in the margins, in another piece of paper. We discussed this last week, yeah, note-taking, concept maps, etc., in order to remember the information, right? So it is said that within the first 24 hours, you will remember more information, right? And if you, maybe after a week, if you have time, or if you are studying for an exam, you go back to the information, yeah, you will remember it more, okay? So this is the first method or approach, the SQ3R. And it's very easy to remember. Survey, question, read, recite or remember, and review, okay? A summary. Okay, there's another, do you have any questions? No? Yes, no? If there's anything that is not very clear, please let me know, all right? I'll continue, and then we'll have a minute of questions and answers. Why is this method or this approach important, and the 5 steps? Is because these will result in faster reading, you highlight important points, and you assist in the process of installing them in your memory. And that will help you to do all these things. When you do that, you are engaged. The more engaged you are in the reading, the more you will remember, the more you will understand. Okay? All right, another similar method, yeah, is the SQ4R. It's the same method, the survey, the question, remember? The first R is the reading, reciting or recalling. The third R is reviewing, and the fourth R here, yeah, is the same method, okay? The fourth R is write or record. So you can write the information down. You can record what you have learned. If you want to write, you can write. If you want to video record yourself, you can do it. If you want to record an audio, it's okay. That's it. Yeah. So whatever your method is or your preference are, try to write it or record it. Okay, so this is the first, well, the first method, and the variant, there's another variant, which is SQ4R. Okay, any questions so far? Now we are going to move into the second method, or the second approach. Hello, hello? No?
Okay,
Questions?
students, yang dijelaskan Mem Petrusia tadi adalah method ya, method yang dinamakan dengan SQ3R dan SQ4R, yaitu survey, you survey the text, and then questions, you read, you recite or recall, remembering, and review. Dan SQ4R itu ada record. Nah, pernah nggak dua metode ini kamu terapkan di reading? Or masih nggak paham dengan step-stepnya, silakan ditanyakan di SQ3R dan SQ4R. Method ya, method in reading. Jadi metode dalam membaca itu untuk to achieve the goal you're reading. Silakan questions or comment before Mem Petrusia going to the next material. I think it is a good method, Mem, for reading practice.
Yes.
From the SQ3R and SQ4R. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You need to try it and you need to put it into practice whenever you are facing a reading. Yes, is either for books or for chapters or for text. You can start with a text, which is easier and shorter, and then try these different methods. Remember, one stage depends on the other. First you survey, then you question, then you read, then you recite or try to remember, then you review, and then if you want to apply number 4, SQ4R, is to write or record. Okay, all right, let's go into the other method. It's called muscle reading, right? And this system comes from United States and is based on the previous method, SQ3R, and it specifics for text highlighting and more note-taking. If you're interested, you can mix methods as well, whatever is good for you, all right? But as I said before, you need to try these methods, try them out, and see what best suits you, okay? So this method is based on text highlighting and more note-taking. Preference for me, yes, I love note-taking because I am a visual person. I know that I need to see things written in order to remember. So that's why for me, note-taking is extremely important. All right. This method consists on 9 stages, but we can divide the first, let's say, 3 stages, and in each stage we have 3 more steps, let's say. First of all, the first stage will be prior questions. Let's see, get information, ask questions. The second one is root up answers, to find these answers. And the third stage will be recite, when you speak, review, and review again, right? So the first is, now we are going to look at prior questions, means to get information. You need to get information from the text. And as I said, this first stage has 3 steps. Phase number 1, you preview, you read the headings and the summary, you look at the illustrations and the graphics, the diagrams, the chart, and the pictures. And this gives you a lot of information from the text, the chapter, or whatever you're reading. Number 2, you outline, you read the chapter, outline, and you question yourself, yes? Write down a set of questions that you think the chapter will provide answers for, yes? Also, remember the headings. The headings are extremely important, and that will give you tips to generate these questions. Remember, as in the other method. And then question. Write down a set of questions that you think the chapter will provide. Oh, sorry, this is the same. Is provide answers for, yeah, and try to answer those questions while you are reading. So this is phase one, Prereading questions. Is questioning all the time. Questions, ask questions, ask yourself questions. Phase number two, which is root up the answers. Okay, at the beginning you have the questions. Now you need to answer all these questions. Read to find the answers to your questions. Underline. When you have finished a section, go back and add notes in the margins or highlight major points. Remember, I mentioned that I have highlighters. Yeah, I love using 3 or 4 colors that shows different meanings. Yeah, for important information, less important information, I use different colors. Answer as you read through this section and try to answer the questions that you wrote down in the previous phase. And then we have phase number 3, which is recite, review, and review again. As you notice, reviewing is extremely important. You need to review again and again, right? In order to remember the information. So recite, talk to yourself out loud or silently about what you just read. Remember, I mentioned that for me, I look like a crazy woman because I'm speaking to the walls, to the mirrors, etc., in order to remember information. Review. That's another way of retaining information. You read through the margins, your notes, in order to remember information, and then do it again, right? Do it tomorrow, in a week time, or in a month, okay? And you will have learning benefits, okay? That's another method for you to apply. As you see, it's similar to the SQ3Rs and SQ4Rs, but it's based on the same method. Here, what is important is that you need to write down and take notes, okay? All right, any questions so far? No? And we are going to see now the last method, because I don't want you to overwhelm you with so many methods. That's why we are seeing only 4, okay? SQ3R, SQ4R, this method, the muscle reading, and now we are going to see another method that is called PREP. And PREP, it means preview, read to understand, and process to learn, right? So these are the main 3 steps: preview, pre-reading, read to understand, and process to learn. All right, let's start. Review. Yeah, in this step, and it's a pre-reading part, you need to ask yourself some questions, yeah, in order to answer those questions in the second step, all right? This is the preparation stage, yeah, in which you, the reader, is encouraged to look through the text and see what's in it, yeah? Question yourself the following things. Does this look interesting? Is it suitable for my purpose? You always need to have a purpose. Which section seems most promising? Yeah, answer those questions yourself. And this is the pre-reading, yeah, before starting. Does this look interesting? Is it suitable for my purposes? Yeah, does it answer my objectives? Which section seems most promising? Second step, read to understand. Obviously, you need to understand the information that you read. So while reading, then you need to look for details, yeah, or ideas that you want to be clear for you, yeah, and you need to answer or try to answer those questions. Always have the purpose, your objective in mind, okay? So try to answer the following questions, or try to do these things. Underline or highlight important words, sentences, or passages. Write marginal notes, yeah, note taking, it's important. Keep a brief record of the most important points from the text, yes. And okay, so more or less, as you see, it's similar to other methods, all right? But here, you need to find whatever suits, whatever is best for you. And step number 3, the last one, is the process to learn. You need to learn all this information, at least try to remember. This is the final stage. And it will lead you to more engagement. Remember, if you're engaged with the text, you will remember it more. You will remember the information. So you can, these are some activities that you can do in step number 3, in the final step. Write a short summary. Yeah, sometimes it's an assignment, and so you need to write a short summary, or you can do it for yourself so you can have a clear information. You can create visual study tools. You can create graphs, concept maps, etc., to represent the idea of what the text is saying. You can create mnemonics or simple and memorable rhymes. You can invent some ideas in order to remember, like songs, yeah, if you are creative. You can recite the main point of your notes, yes, and tell somebody else. I don't know if you notice, but none of these methods talk about discussing with others. Okay, and this is something that they lack, because everything is based on individual work. But I firmly believe that you need to discuss the ideas with other people, and you need to exchange your thoughts. So I'll encourage you to, after you read, after you summarize, after you've done all these steps, whichever method you've chosen, discuss with your classmates, exchange thoughts, have reading groups. Yeah, so maybe every week you say, okay, today we are going, or this week we are going to read this chapter, or these 2 chapters, or this book, or whatever you have for assignments at university. And then you get together and you discuss this. Yeah, I think it's helpful for you to understand different points of views. Yeah, I might have my point of view, and maybe your colleagues your classmates have other points of view. So I think this experience of discussing with other people, exchanging your thought, is extremely rich for you. Yeah, and to have different perspective and different points of views. Okay, so my question to you guys is, what do you think about these methods? Have you ever tried them? These are 4 different approaches to reading. Yeah, as I said before, I didn't want you to bombard you with other methods. I think these 4 are okay. And it would be a great idea if you can put them into practice whenever you have to read something. Sophie, do the students have opportunities to read? I'm sure they have some readings to do this week, right? Or next week? Are you muted, Sophie?
Yes, ma'am. Next week we will apply this method, right?
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Try. Yeah, exactly. Try these different methods. Pick and choose. Yes. Maybe one day you would like to practice the muscle reading.
So
or then
we can choose the form. Yes, we can choose one of them, or we can use mix method, ma'am. Between like SQ3R and muscle reading, we can mix method.
yes.
So it will be better for reading practice.
Yes, absolutely.
And jadi bisa di mix. Yes.
Something
Jadi metodenya ini.
No, sorry. Go on.
Ya, jadi maksudnya gini, metode ini bisa di-mix ya, bisa digabungkan antara SQ3R misalnya dengan muscle reading atau SQ4R. Jadi bisa kita gabungkan untuk ke practice reading. Jadi ini langkahnya untuk memudahkan kalian ke reading practice, ya, to get the answer, ya, to finding the main idea and then topic sentence and others. Jadi silakan gunakan ini metode yang dijelaskan tadi. Nah, untuk stepnya yang mungkin kalian tidak memahami, silakan tanyakan. Ya, you can comment, please.
Yeah, it would be also great for you to reflect once you tried a method or the 4 methods, and try to reflect on if it's useful to you. If it is, why? If it's not, why not? Yeah. And if you would like to try another method, yeah, and write down your reflections, because I would like to hear from you next class, next session. Okay, it's gonna be our last session. I would like to hear from you, hear your ideas, hear your thoughts, your experiences with these methods. If you like them, if you don't, why not, etc. Okay, so reflection is extremely important. Maybe one method is not good for you, you don't like it, and you try another method, and so on. So this is important, right? In a piece of paper, just write down your reflections and what you try, what you didn't try, etc. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, here we have a comment. Let's say somebody says, no questions for me. Okay, sometimes I do some of the methods, ma. Now I know the other method that will help us. All right, thank you, Faiza. Please reflect on this, yeah, and tell us your ideas, your reflections, your evaluations next week. I think it's extremely important for me and for you as well, because it's good to hear your other people's, your other classmates' feelings and ideas and reflections. Okay, we have another one. Okay, Faisal, right? Good.
Okay. Maybe you have the most difficult part of reading, for example, what is that? Maybe we can solve the problem by apply this method, right? Ya. Jadi untuk memecahkan masalahnya bisa gunakan metode ini. Bagian mana yang kalian anggap sulit itu di reading? Apa sih? Gitu.
Yeah.
So we can solve the problem, yeah, by the step of method of reading.
Absolutely. Yes. Or you can add. Or you can try one method together, the whole class together. Obviously, this is individual, but yeah, but why not do it in groups as well? Collaboration, it's important. Okay, Sefrian says, I have an issue when I'm reading. I can normally read a book or an article quickly, and it's not really hard to me to understand the point, but it's only when I'm reading in silence. But when it comes to reading out loud with my voice, it's kind of hard to me to memorize and understand the language. So do you have any advice for this? Okay. I have to say that, Sefrian, that whatever it works for you, it's fine. For example, you said that you concentrate better in silence, yeah? And is that what you're saying? This is what I understood, that it's better for you to read in silence. You don't have to read out loud. No. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. For me, it works better to read out loud because I can concentrate more. Yes, if I read in silence, my mind wanders. But if I'm reading out loud, I'm concentrated more. But maybe for you is the other way around. So whatever my idea here is, and this is what I would like you to remember, is you need to try out different methods and reflect on this method. Do they work for you? Why not? I think you need to try this method in order to know what is best for you. Yeah. If you don't know, if you don't try, you don't know. So that's what I'm saying. If you concentrate better in silence, fantastic. It's great. So if you know that reading out loud is not good for you, don't do it. Yeah. Sometimes to my students, and I tell them, what do you prefer? I think it's also important to have options. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to read in silence and understand the reading, if it's usually a short reading, or do you prefer to read out loud? And some people say, no, I prefer to read in silence because if I read out loud, I'm very conscious about my pronunciation and I don't understand what I'm reading. So fair enough. Yes. Okay. So I think it's important, Sefrian, to know what works best for you. Okay, I have another thing. Salsabila, in your opinion, which strategy do you think is better, ma'am? As I said before, there are no right or wrong strategies. You need to try them all and see what's best for you. Okay. What is best for you might not best for your classmates or for me or for Ma'am Shofi. So it depends. Yeah, we are all different and we work in different levels. So and we work in different ways. So you need to know what strategy is good for you. Okay, that's all. I hope, Salsabila, that I answer your question. Muhammad said, apart from the steps, is there another step again? Yes. There's another method that is called S-Run, and another method that is called, well, it's not a method, but it's more of collaboration that I would like to try next week. All right. So we are going to talk about this. All right. But so far, I would like you to try at least one or two of these methods, these approaches, and see if they work for you. All right. Thank you, ma'am, because it's really difficult to me when I'm doing speech or have to read a book in class practice. Okay. Yes, you need to practice and concentrate and try to find whatever works for you. Okay, I think this is the key word. All right. What else do we have? Do we have any other? No. All right. Good. Just the idea is try these methods. Yeah. And see, or maybe these methods don't work for you, but you tried a mix of methods. Yeah. And you create your own approach, your own method. Why not? Yeah. So this is the key idea that I would like you to take away today. Try, see, observe yourself and reflect on it. Okay. And write some ideas in a piece of paper and then tell me all about it next class, okay? My idea, let's see if it works. My idea for next class is to do a collaborative task, and it requires collaboration. We are going to work in groups. Let's see, Sophie, if it's possible, if it's feasible. What I would like you to do is an activity called reading circles, and it's collaboration. So it's a group work, and each one of you needs to read. I mean, you will have the same text. Sophie, maybe you can select the text. I will send you details after the class. But the idea is each one of you, you have the same text to read, but each one of you is going to read the text with a different perspective, a different point of view. Okay, so maybe now you don't understand what I'm saying, but I'm going to send you the information, then Sophie is going to send it to you and you will understand what I'm talking about. I think this is a brilliant idea to read the text from different perspectives, and then together you will construct, build up the text again, and you will see different perspectives, okay? This is about what I mentioned before, is I think it's extremely important to read and to get together with your classmates in small groups to discuss text, to discuss ideas, and to discuss authors, because we may have different points of views. Okay. Faisa says, yes, can you send us your PowerPoint? Yeah, of course. After the class, I will send Ma'am Sophie this PowerPoint, the PDF. Yes, so you will have all this information. Any more questions? I hope it's clear. This is what we are going to do. Well, so you have some homework to do, okay? You have pick a method, try it, see if it works for you, reflect, evaluate, and write down some ideas of your evaluation. Yeah, and then next Friday you will tell me all about it. Don't be shy, huh? You need to speak, because I've been doing all the speaking today. Is that okay? Any questions?
Is everything clear for you? Okay, about the homework, later, then Patricia will talk to me, and then I will send to you the reading text. So the students read the text before the class beginning, ma'am, right?
Yes. The idea is I will send you a Google Drive document. Yeah, so we all have access to it with a role. Okay, and students need to work in groups. So probably, yeah. Sophie, you will need to decide, or students will need to decide which groups they are going to, or which people they are going to work with.
Yes. How many students in one group, ma'am? 4 or 5?
I think there are, okay, if you give me a second. I think there are 8 roles, if I'm not mistaken. Just a second,
8
please.
rooms.
8, yes, so maybe 8 people. Just a sec.
We have 29 students. 29 students.
Right. Let me share just a little bit what I mean by the roles, so you have an idea. And I will send you this in a Google Doc, in a Google document, so you all have access to this. Okay.
Yes.
Here we have, these are different ways to read. This is just to try and see if it works for you. This is collaborative reading, collaboration reading. Okay, you have different roles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 6 people
in one group.
In groups. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6
okay.
people.
if we have
yes, because they have role.
Okay, so one person is going to be the summarizer. Okay, so your role is going to summarize the text, and this is what you need to do. Summarize the author's main ideas overall, or maybe each paragraph. Okay, another person is going to be the connector. So what connections can you make between the content in the text and a situation in your life that you are familiar with? This is background knowledge, remember? This is the prior knowledge, something that you come with. Context referee, yeah, it means what context means places, people, might be helpful to explore further to understand the text. Maybe the author says, as this author says, so you say, so this author is referring to another author. So I need to know what the other author is saying, okay? Visual maker, I'm going through very quickly, but then you will have more time to understand. Visual maker, maybe you need some photographs, some diagrams, etc., that you can find on the internet to help you understand what the text is about. Then another one, topic grabber, is what topical vocabulary, what vocabulary does the author include? Yeah, so you can make groups of lists, and this will expand your vocabulary bank. And another is the questionnaire. What questions does this text raise for you? Yeah, if you read the text, do you have more questions? What are these questions? Okay, is there anything that you're not sure about? So pick 2 or 3 questions that you might ask. So the idea is that you work as this role, and then you get together with your group, and everyone shares the other point of view. So you have a holistic point of view from the text. Does it make sense? I will send everything, don't worry, okay? And I think it's a great idea. So for homework, you need to do 2 things. First of all, pick up a method, an approach, and try it and see if it works for you. Write your reflections so you can talk about them next class. Please be ready to talk about it, or maybe write on the chat. And the second one is Ma'am Shofi is going to give you a text, and you need to work in groups, yeah, using all these roles. Okay, this approach is called reading cycles, and it's extremely important when it's collaboration. It's important when you read for academic purposes. All right.
Okay.
That's all. This is what you have to do. Then I will send instructions for everyone, and it might be clearer.
Ya,
Okay.
Jadi ada in one group we have 6 people ya, 6 students. Nah, jadi 6 student itu yang dijelaskan Mbak Patricia tadi sudah ada role-nya masing-masing ya, sudah ada perannya, siapa yang summarizer ya kan? Nah, itu sudah ada perannya yang dijelaskan tadi. Jadi 6 orang satu kelompok nanti akan dibagi menjadi 6 orang ya, masing-masing kelompok itu 6 orang yang sudah punya peran masing-masing. And then jangan lupa your assignments ya, ada 2 assignment, ada 2 tugasnya tadi. So if you want to watch again, kita nanti lihat di live streaming ya di YouTube kalau masih kurang jelas tentang apa yang dijelaskan tadi ya. Nanti Mem share about the link. Okay, Mem Patricia, very informative about reading for academic purposes, the strategies, and the method. So the students have theories that they can apply in reading classroom later.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I hope it helped you. I hope you can put all this method into practice now. Yes, from today onwards. And please be ready to reflect and to
Yes.
share your experiences and your ideas next Friday. Okay? And next Friday is going to be our last session. So I hope you can speak more. All right?
Okay. We prepare for the prize for students who can answer the questions and give comments or sharing experience, because next week is the last meeting for
Exactly. And I would like to hear people's voices.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming once again, and I hope this may help you to become an effective reader. Well, I'm looking forward to hear your ideas and your thoughts next Friday. Okay?
Okay, Ma'am Patricia, thank you so much for today, for your presentations, and then for students, for your participations. We can continue our lessons next meeting, next Friday. Be ready for your homework, yeah, your reflections, and then your reading text. I will send to you from Ma'am Patricia, so I will send to you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, our operator today, MRC. Thank you. And then we meet again next week. Okay.
Exactly.
See you, ma'am.
See ya. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Te amo.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
See you, Miss.
Cek. Suara tadi masuk ya? Oke, bye-bye. See you next time.